Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be taking a look at r/OhNoConsequences. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in listening to today, then please do stick around and enjoy. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please, thank you. Okay, first post was formatted horribly, by the way. So yeah, it was so hard to read, but there we are. So the original post was from Throwaway Anxious Mum, and the title says, "My son cut contact due to his stepfather." I divorced my ex-husband when my son was 11 years old. We had 50-50 custody, and I remarried to my current husband 2 years after that. My current husband and my son didn't get along, to say the least. Even when I was dating him, they remained aloof with each other. My son was anxious in interacting, but was still respectful towards him. My husband saw dealing with my son as something he signed up for if he was to continue to be in a relationship with me. My husband still kept his distance from my son. Weird. Don't get with people with kids if you don't want to deal with kids. Things got worse after we got married. My husband would avoid my son when he came to visit. He soon started criticising him and became harsh with him. It could be occasionally getting a snack from the fridge without asking, or sometimes forgetting the lights on in his room. He said I should cut down my visitations with my son. Right, so your husband is having a go at your kid for being a kid, getting a snack out the fridge without asking, and forgetting the lights are on in his room. Okay, and? I asked him why does he hate him. He said he doesn't hate, but dislikes him. That's when I would have ended the relationship right there. He hates the fact that he's introverted and awkward. My husband said it's already enough. Right, okay. My husband said it's already enough that he tolerates him. He kept antagonising my son. He would say things like he should get a job during high school because he's going to be out of the house by 20 at best. I always stood for my son and admonished my husband in private and told my son not to take it seriously in the heat of the moment. You didn't stand for your son, did you though? Because you basically kept his bully around. But okay. My husband laid off my son when I got pregnant with our daughter 5 years ago. By that time, my son felt alienated. I admit I always prioritised my relationship with my husband over my son. No, you don't say. I made more effort in spending time with my husband than my son, whether it be doing our daily Friday date nights. Daily Friday date nights. Oh, you know what? At least I can say this has definitely not been written by AI. Going out as a couple only every other weekend. Okay. That sentence made no sense. You know, normally I'm like, if people make mistakes when they're writing, I couldn't give a fuck, by the way. I'm not grammar police. I'm not punctuation police. But when this person is going to be such a nasty knobhead to their kid, you better make sure you come on here and write things properly. We did more couples-only vacations in a year than family vacations, not including the occasional weekend getaways. I understand that this made my son feel second place, but my son didn't understand that he'd eventually start a life of his own, but my partner is still going to be with me. So basically, OP, what you're telling us is that you are a shit parent, yeah? Okay, got it. Yeah, I could have spent more time with him, but no parent is perfect. Mate, you are far from perfect. You don't even get to, see that category from where you're standing, my love. And it's always a struggle to keep a balance. My son's become distant from me and focused on his studies more. That paid off at least since he got a huge scholarship for our flagship state university. He relied on student loans to pay the rest of tuition. He cut me off the day he was supposed to come back from winter break. He cut me off by email. He wrote this. "Dear Mum, I don't want a relationship with you anymore. Your love holds little to no value to me anymore. I don't resent you for divorcing Dad. I don't resent you for finding love again and wanting to get remarried. However, these past years I've learned an important lesson. I've learned that the relationship one holds on to play a role in their identity. You can't say you love me more than anything in the world, yet love a man who treats me like an unwanted burden. I resent you for making him my stepfather. I resent you making me treat someone who hates me being around like an authority or parental figure, even though he hasn't earned it. I resent you for always choosing him over me. Don't call me anymore. Don't visit me. I have a great life in college with new friends. I guess I am not the weirdo with no friends that the shit stain of a human being who you call your husband said anymore, I can assume, was supposed to say. And I still have a dad who loves me. Goodbye forever. Honestly, that is the least you deserve. I could have been meaner. Personally, like, honestly. And I bet you now she's gonna be like, I don't understand. What? That message still haunts me. I tried calling and he blocked my number. When I attempted to visit him, he wouldn't let me in his dorm and finally threatened to get a restraining order. That's when I backed off. My mother, his grandmother, is the only connection I have to him, and my sister's Facebook. My mother was the one who told me that he was double majoring in mechanical engineering and physics, and he was currently doing a PhD in physics in an Ivy League. My sister allows me to log into her account to see pictures of his life. When I saw his graduation pictures with only his dad invited or pictures of his friends, I just burst into tears. Can I still get him back? God, I hope not. He doesn't need someone like you in his life, love. You were a terrible parent. You were a terrible support system. You put a bloke before your kid, which makes you the most despicable being going. You don't deserve him in your life. And that might sound like me being mean, but I don't care. Personally, I don't care. So, down in the comments, Hot Toddy for me says, your son didn't cut you off due to his stepdad. He cut you off because of the way you allowed someone else to treat him. And then Ruda Maiga says, my daughter's father did to her what you did to your son. Talking to my daughter, I doubt she'll ever want to rebuild her relationship with her father. And I doubt your son will either. You're reaping what you sow. I just hope that you choosing your new husband over your son will not damage your son for life. I feel like the son's going to be just fine. I know obviously he's going to have a lot of deep-rooted emotional scars, but honestly, I think now that he's cut the OP off, he's gonna be okay. And this was 6 years ago, so I'm hoping he has been absolutely fine since, and I hope that the OP is still reeling. Next post, originally posted by Thisu. Am I the butthole for refusing to help my brother-in-law and sister-in-law while they're struggling by meal prepping a few meals a week for them and their kids? I, 17M, have an older brother, James, 28M, who's married to Erica and has 3 kids with another on the way. Me and James don't have a relationship. I feel like he resents me for being born, or like I stole our parents from him or something, because he has always been a huge jerk to me. I'm talking putting stuff where I couldn't reach them when I was little, locking me in my room because he could, and dropping me off at the neighbour's house when he agreed to babysit and was getting paid for it so our parents could go out. I mean, putting stuff up top and like so out of reach and locking your siblings in the room. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of something siblings just do to each other now and then. I had 3 siblings growing up and we were all feral and we would like be proper mean to each other sometimes, like not in like a calculated way, just like winding each other up. And my 2 kids do it to each other too. Like obviously I'll tell them to pack it in when I catch them doing it, but I think that is a very typical sibling thing. But however, dropping them off with the neighbours when they're meant to be babysitting is a little going overboard, I would say. And also, we do have to bear in mind that the OP's brother is a good 12 years older than them as well. 12 or 13, actually. Wait, the math ain't math in here. 11. 11? I don't know. My brain's not working today. 11 years. I think it's 11 years older. I think. So yeah, like the older brother should have known better by the time that, you know, OP was old enough for them to start doing stuff like this. When James met Erica, she was a jerk to me too. She made fun of the way I talk because of my stutter, and she ignored me unless our parents were there. For a while, my parents and James had a bad relationship because of how he, and Erica later, treated me. But they made up and became close again and stayed close even when he didn't invite me to his wedding. They ignore my birthdays, they ignore me at Christmas, they never invite me to parties they throw, and it's not an age thing because kids younger than me get invited. It's all a me thing. Like, if this is seriously all because OP was born and took some of the parents' attention, I'm sorry, but this dude needs to grow the fuck up. This brother is pathetic. He is a 28-year-old man. Grow up. I asked James why he hates me, and he ignored me. And when I tried to push him to answer, he laughed in my face and told me to get away from him. Dude, stop bothering with him. He's not worth it. James and Erica have their 3 kids, who I don't know, by the way, and they've another on the way. Erica's had a rough pregnancy, and my parents help keep their house clean and stuff on the weekends, and they have sent them money. But my parents don't really cook much. I cook usually on Sundays and meal prep lunches for school and other stuff. I pay for the ingredients I use because I don't really like the stuff Mum and Dad sometimes buy, and it's sometimes because they mostly eat takeout for dinner. James started asking for food, so Erica and him didn't need to worry about that so much. My parents say I should do it, since I meal prep already. Absolutely not. And James said it would be perfect. My parents said to use the stuff that they buy and meal prep for James's family, but I told them I won't put my time into making food for people who treat me like shit. Abso-flippin'-lutely, OP. As you should. My parents said that they're still our family, and then James was like, what the fuck? Why are you okay with hurting my family? When our parents told him. That's what you get, James. That is just what you get. My parents said that they are very disappointed in me and that this was the chance to build some bridges. Am I the butthole? Absolutely not, and it should not be down to the OP to build those bridges in the first place. James is a good few years older. I'm not trying to work it out again because my brain's apparently not working today. Pretty sure it's 11 years. James is a good 11 years older, bullying a 17-year-old, being nasty to this kid for years and years and years for no reason, getting his partner to bully the little 17-year-old, all because he didn't get all of his parents' attention. Boo you, James. Sort your own family out. This is what is called karma. Because now you need him for something and he's not going to be anywhere to be seen. And so he shouldn't. Like, no. Tell James to sling his hook. What a weirdo. So, down in the comments, both Treacle7534 says, not the butthole. It's not the victim's job to try to start building bridges, precisely. Something your parents have to know already. I would really like to have a bit of insight into the dynamic of how the parents parented. I feel there's probably something there too, to explain why all this has gone on. I feel like they are not doing what they should be doing and probably haven't been for all of the OP's life. Something's off, something's off. So then the OP replies saying they don't care about that. He could do worse and they'd still ask me to do this for them. I would have thought refusing to invite me to his wedding would have said it all, but no. Will you two pack it in? The Nakies are fighting. Pack it in. Wait, no. No. Blazing Sunflowerland says, tell your parents that you are disappointed that your brother has always been your bully, and you're disappointed in them that they let it happen. Precisely. Next post, my friend said this while applying for a job. How can he get reconsidered or apply again? My friend recently applied for a position at a private company that employs a large number of female staff. The interview started off very well. The HR manager was engaged, the atmosphere was positive, and my friend genuinely felt like he was making a good impression. Towards the end of the interview, the HR manager asked him a standard question. What are your weaknesses in a work environment? Trying to be funny and lighten the mood, my friend replied, women are my weakness. Okay, so now they're going to look at you and see you as just one big sexual harassment violation waiting to happen. The HR manager's expression immediately changed. He became noticeably more serious and ended the interview shortly after and told him, we'll contact you later. It has now been a full month with no update, and my friend is convinced that his joke cost him the job and that he unintentionally sabotaged his chances. The position, however, is still open and posted on the company's website. Given the situation, is there still a chance that he could be considered if he reapplies for the same position, since it's still available? I think maybe not. I don't think there is, to be honest with you, love. So, down in the comments, Tight Shift 5706, he's a moron. No one intentionally hires a moron. And then I Have Paper says, that's what made me laugh. HR asks the question and he decides to follow it up with an answer that HR considers a nightmare. That's fucking funny, OP. Your friend is an idiot and I hope that this was his first ever job interview. Lesson learned and move on. If this wasn't his first interview, then he's a legit dumbass. Honestly, because they're just going to see him as a liability now. They're just going to think that he is going to be one of those people that they will hire who will then get reported for doing something misogynistic or sexually harassy, and then he's going to have to be fired anyway. And then there could even be lawsuits involved and things like that, depending on where you live in the world, you know? So yeah, of course they're not going to want to bloody hire him. What a knob. Next post. Girl, 20F, I, 20M, used to bully in high school is making me lose all my friends. I was an asshole back in high school. I thought I knew all there was to know. I was very popular and I let it get to my head. I bullied more kids than just her. She was a common target for me. She was overweight, sort of weird, awkward, and I guess I just decided to bully her due to my own insecurities. She left school after 10th grade and no one really heard from her. Until now. This chick has literally done a 180 in appearance. She's like tanned, lost so much weight, has gained over 2,000 followers on Instagram. 2,000 followers on Instagram. What's that got to do with the price of eggs? I don't get why that's relevant. And become quite well known in my city amongst people. The other week, a school friend of mine had talked to her at a bar and apparently said I traumatized her in school. I do truly feel so bad that she feels this way, but now I'm finding out she's literally telling everyone this, even people I didn't go to school with. Oh no, it's kind of like the consequences of your own actions are coming to fruition. Oops. Good. I understand that she's still very much hurt by things that I said to her back in school. They were beyond wrong and fucked up. But we were 16. Bear in mind that's literally only 4 years previous to this post because they are both still only 20. So that's not long ago. She doesn't know me or how much I've grown, and I just think it's a little unfair that she's going around telling people this, because now a few of my friends have cut me off after she told them things that I had said. But they were dumb 16-year-old comments. What do I do about this? I feel like we are missing some context here, because I imagine if the OP had just said something like, oh, you're a weirdo, you know, that is nasty, that is bad, but I don't see that all their friends would disown them for that. I feel like these things that they had said to this girl must have been really bad for literally everyone to want to disown them, because you've got to remember a lot of people are also shite stains that hang out with shite stains. You know, you are what you eat and you are who you hang around with in a way. So the stuff that has been said must have been really flipping bad for everyone he knows to be turning on him like that. So bear that in mind. But no, I think it's good. That is your comeuppance for being an absolute little shite waffle to somebody who did not deserve it, just because what? You thought they were deserving because you didn't like how they looked and that you thought they were a bit weird. That's disgraceful. Anyway, down in the comments, let's have a look what they say, shall we? Bubblegum Toast says, have you considered, hear me out, apologising to her? Wild, I know. I highly doubt that. Or we wouldn't be here discussing this today. I do apologise, by the way, if it's really noisy. I'm recording this little bit on a different day because as I was editing just now, I realised that it sounded weird. I don't know what had happened, whether I'd knocked the microphone out a little bit or something, but it was very like buzzy and fuzzy. So I'm having to re-record it, but my windows are open because I burnt a candle that had some like bark in it and it has stung out my room so bad. So yeah, apologies if you can hear road noise. Hopefully not though. I don't think my mic picks up stuff that well. So, Q-Hey Heko then says, first understand that she might not want to give you the time of day to speak to her in any way. That's fair enough. She does not owe you anything. If she is willing to communicate with you, apologise with no excuses for your behaviour, because it was inexcusable. Tell her basically that you cannot change what you did in the past, you can change what you will do going forward, and that you understand if she speaks the truth about your actions. Exactly. Then leave her alone. You are reaping what you sowed. Exactly. That's it. Do I think that, yeah, kids can sometimes just be mean to each other because they're kids? Of course they can, but there's a difference, isn't there? And for her to feel so traumatized by it, I can't imagine what was said, and I wouldn't want to, but I have a feeling it was some really awful stuff. Next post, originally posted by OldStill3321, says, "I'm not attentive enough. You shall have my full attention." I teach at a uni where I'm known as a very easy instructor. Being on time with assignments equals full credit. Late equals a lower grade. Missing something equals a 0. There's an exception for written projects, but regular work is really easy. This year started poorly. Not only did I have a personal issue, but my course was thrown off for being assigned the wrong textbook. As such, there were issues, but I extended deadlines so nothing would be unfairly late, and I even added an online introductions discussion with 10% of the class grade, meaning if you say hello, you get a 10 out of 10. A couple students were worried. One student, however, really took the cake. The department admin texted me to say, "A student wrote us an email. Can you please reply today?" She wrote my boss that I should be fired because of how badly things were going. I very kindly reply all. To this I would think she'd be like, "Oh, I am in deep doo-doo." She did not. She emailed the chair again. He forwarded, I repeat, and I add, "You are clearly a good student who wants to do well. Let me know what deadline for the affected work is best for you." And now she's stuck, because it seems to me that she doesn't want to do the work. Ah, yes, so when you basically go, "Okay, then how can I adapt this to help you?" She's like, no. I was hoping you'd back down and just tell me I could get away with not doing it at all. Oh, what do I do? Then I get an email which includes a student services liaison. She's going on and on about how her grade's being bad and how it's unfair and how the uni needs to fix this. They need to replace me or help her, or maybe she'll have to drop the class. And this is where she shoots herself in the foot. She then claims that I'm not even looking at her very late submissions and giving no feedback, just saying, "Good job," points off for late submission. She adds that she needs my substantive feedback. I reply, "The only things you've done wrong is submit work late. For example, the intro assignment, which only required you to post your name and something about yourself was worth 10% of your final grade. You submitted it 15 days late, so get a 5 out of 10. Last week you submitted the assignment 10 days after the deadline you asked for, so you got a 3 out of 5. You have an assignment due tonight, please get it in on time. This is one of the assignments I always give substantive feedback on. She got it in, so I wrote everyone that evening to give my feedback. My feedback. This is a compelling paper with information I did not previously know. Mind you, this is a freshman level course. It is also well written. Great job. I'm happy that you were good at using AI. However, you have a lot of data that needs to be verified. I then gave 8 examples of things she needed to check to see if they are true. Per the instructions, you lose 5 points for not verifying your data and 1 point for not double spacing your paper. 4 out of 10. She replied that it was not fair because she always gets top marks. She also says she has a heart condition. I told her she can come to virtual or in-person office hours, and the student services liaison is also welcome. Given the reason she got a 4 out of 10, I think her liaison told her to stop before she got in trouble. Last week she attached a corrupted file as her assignment, so gave her that feedback and then input a 0 out of 5 for the assignment. Oh my goodness. Like, sometimes I find it so baffling how far people will go to dig themselves deeper into a hole. It's actually almost impressive, to be honest. So, down in the comments, Bitchelangelo says, "With the corrupt file, I would bet that she was trying to get extra time on the assignment. I've seen this advice on Reddit before. Probably, yeah." And then the OP says, "Yup, works very well in secondary school. Professors tend to know better." And then Slithe Wolf says, "It worked great for 20 years ago." Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're all a lot more computer literate now, so that doesn't really fly as an excuse anymore, does it? Okay, so I think that's all we've got time for today. If you made it all the way to the end with me, then I appreciate you very, very much. If you give a little like, subscribe, notifications on, maybe even drop a comment in the comment section for the algorithms and things. We have to please the algorithms now and then. We need to bow down to it. That would be your initiation into the Coven of Void, by the way. Whatever it is you're doing for the day, I hope you have a really good rest of the day. Goodbye!